There was a time when they thought they had silenced you. They pushed you aside, ignored your value, and buried you beneath their doubts, their cruelty, and their indifference. They thought you were done, finished, forgotten. But here's what they didn't understand. You are not a seed that perishes. You are a force that thrives under pressure. In the depths of your struggle, when you felt abandoned, something within you awakened. It wasn't anger, nor was it mere survival. It was something far more powerful. The realization that no one has the right to define your end except you. You were never defeated. You were simply in the process of becoming something they couldn't control. Now, every step you take forward, every victory you earn, every ounce of wisdom you gain becomes the shadow that follows them, not as vengeance, but as a living testament to their failure in breaking you. Your presence will be a reminder of what they tried to suppress. Your success will echo in their minds, a silent yet deafening truth. They were wrong about you. But here's the most powerful part. You don't even need to focus on them. Your mission is not to haunt them with hatred, but to live so fully, so unshakably, that your very existence becomes a lesson they can't ignore. Let them watch, let them wonder, let them sit with the weight of their choices. Because when they buried you alive, they only planted the roots of something they will never escape, your undeniable return. The power of resilience. When they buried you, they believed it was the end. They mistook silence for surrender, darkness for defeat. But resilience isn't about avoiding hardship. It's about what you do when hardship finds you. It's about standing back up when you've been knocked down, not once, but 100 times if necessary. True resilience isn't just survival, it's transformation. The greatest stories of human triumph emerge from the very moments when all seemed lost. The lion that's caged doesn't forget its nature. It waits, it learns, and when the time comes, it reclaims its power. Similarly, your struggle wasn't your conclusion, it was your preparation. Those who underestimated you saw only the surface. They failed to see the strength beneath, the endurance building, the wisdom sharpening. They assumed you were weak because you were quiet. They assumed you were finished because you weren't fighting back. Yet. But resilience is often quiet before it roars. The world may try to crush you, but what it doesn't realize is that pressure creates diamonds. What was meant to bury you only forced you to find the strength you never knew you had. This is not just about proving them wrong. It's about proving to yourself that no challenge, no betrayal, no setback can define your limits. You are still here, and that alone is proof of your resilience. Now, it's time to rise. Turning betrayal into strength. Betrayal is one of the deepest wounds a person can endure. It doesn't just cut, it shakes your entire foundation. When someone you trusted turns against you, when a system that was supposed to protect you leaves you behind, it can feel like the ultimate defeat. But here's the truth. Betrayal is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your transformation. Pain has two paths, destruction or evolution. The choice is yours. You can let betrayal define you, turn you bitter, make you a prisoner of resentment, or you can let it sharpen you, make you more resilient, more aware, and more unshakable than ever before. The people who tried to break you thought they were ending something, but they were only lighting the fire that would forge you into something far stronger. Understand this, when people betray you, it reveals more about them than it does about you. It exposes their fears, their weaknesses, their inability to handle your potential. They saw something in you that unsettled them. Instead of standing beside you, they chose to try to bury you. But they failed to understand one simple fact. You don't stay buried, you rise. And when you rise, you do so with a clarity and power that you didn't have before. You don't just recover, you rebuild yourself into something unstoppable. Betrayal may have wounded you, but it also removed your illusions. It forced you to see the world as it truly is. And from that truth, you gain a strength that can never be taken away. So don't waste energy seeking revenge. The best way to respond to betrayal is to build yourself into a person they can no longer touch. Let them watch as you rise beyond their reach. Let your strength be the answer to their doubt. Let your very existence prove that no betrayal, no deception, no setback can define you. Only you can do that. The return of the forgotten. They dismissed you, ignored your voice, laughed at your struggles. They cast you aside as if you were nothing, believing that their silence, their indifference would erase you. But what they failed to understand is that no one stays forgotten forever. History is filled with those who were overlooked, doubted, and underestimated until they weren't. The strongest people, the ones who shaped the world, are often the ones who were first rejected by it. The exile, the outcast, the forgotten. These are the ones who return with a force no one saw coming, not because they were given permission, not because the world suddenly decided to welcome them back, but because they refused to disappear. Your absence was not your end, it was your evolution. While they ignored you, you were working. While they mocked you, you were sharpening your skills. While they turned their backs, you were building yourself into something greater. And now, you're not just coming back. You're coming back with a purpose, with a strength they can't deny. They will have no choice but to see you. The same people who wrote you off will be forced to acknowledge your presence, your success, your unstoppable momentum. And it won't be because you sought revenge or begged for their approval. It will be because you made yourself undeniable. The return of the forgotten isn't about proving them wrong. It's about proving to yourself that you were never defined by their validation in the first place. They thought you were gone. They thought you had nothing left. But now, you are the storm they never prepared for, living as a haunting reminder. The most powerful response to those who tried to bury you is not anger, it's not vengeance, it's existence, living, thriving, succeeding. This is what truly haunts them. You don't have to seek them out. You don't have to waste energy plotting revenge. The simple fact that you refused to break, that you refused to be erased, will be enough to echo in their minds. Every step you take forward, every accomplishment you achieve will be a constant reminder of their failure to keep you down. Understand this. When people try to destroy you, it's often because they fear what you could become. They fear your potential, your strength, your ability to rise. And when you prove them wrong, when you refuse to be defeated, they are left with only one thing: regret. They will see you, not because you demand their attention, but because success has a way of shining through even the thickest shadows. They will wonder how you endured, how you transformed, how you took what was meant to destroy you and turned it into fuel. And that question will haunt them far more than any words ever could. But this isn't about them. This is about you. Because in the end, the greatest victory is not just surviving, it's thriving. It's building a life so strong, so meaningful, that their betrayal becomes insignificant. They may have tried to bury you, but now your very existence will be a reminder that they never had the power to stop you. Building a legacy from the ashes. They thought they ended your story. They believed that by casting you aside, by breaking you down, they had won. But they failed to realize that some people don't stay buried. Some people rise from the ashes, stronger, wiser, and unstoppable. You were never meant to stay in the shadows. Every hardship, every betrayal, every loss, it wasn't your destruction, it was your foundation. The greatest legacies in history aren't built by those who had an easy path. They're built by those who endured, who faced the worst and refused to let it define them. And that's the difference between you and them. They live in the moment, seeking comfort, control, and power at the expense of others. But you are thinking beyond that. You are building something that will outlast them. You are creating a story that will echo long after they are forgotten. Your success is not just about proving a point. It's about making sure that every struggle, every setback, every ounce of suffering you endured was not in vain. You don't just rise, you create. You leave something behind that speaks for you, something that turns every failure into wisdom, every loss into strength. One day they will look back and realize that they weren't fighting to destroy you, they were unknowingly shaping your legend. And by then, it won't matter what they think, because while they focused on burying you, you were focused on building something eternal. They thought they had silenced you. They thought they had erased you from existence, buried you so deep that the world would forget you ever existed. But they didn't realize one thing. Some people don't stay buried. Some people rise. And when they do, they return as something far more powerful than before. You were never truly gone. The moment they turned their backs, thinking they had won, was the same moment you started your transformation. Because adversity doesn't destroy those who refuse to break. It refines them. Hardship is the fire that burns away weakness, leaving behind something stronger, something unstoppable. They underestimated you. They thought their betrayal, their rejection, their cruelty would be enough to end your story. But stories like yours don't end in silence, they end in triumph. What they meant for destruction only became fuel for your rise. At your lowest, you had two choices: let the darkness consume you or learn to see in the dark. You chose the latter. You realized that their betrayal was not a reflection of your worth, but of their fear. They tried to destroy you not because you were weak, but because they saw your potential and feared what you could become. And now here you are, rising from the depths they left you in, not just surviving, but thriving. You didn't just recover, you rebuilt. You took the pain, the rejection, the silence, and turned it into strength. Every step forward, every victory, every breath you take is a reminder that they failed to break you. You are no longer fighting for their recognition or their approval. You don't need it, you never did. The only thing that matters now is your own path, your own destiny. You are living proof that no setback, no betrayal, no act of cruelty can define a person who refuses to be defeated. And the best part? You don't have to seek revenge. You don't have to waste your time looking back at those who wronged you. Your very existence is enough. Every time they hear your name, see your success, or feel your presence in the world, they will be reminded of what they tried to bury and failed. They will wonder how you endured, how you took their worst and turned it into your greatest strength, how you transformed pain into purpose. They will watch as you rise higher than they ever imagined, and the weight of their actions will rest on their conscience forever. But this is not about them anymore. This is about you, about what you have become. You are no longer the person they tried to bury. You are something far greater, someone unshakable, someone who will not be ignored, not because you demand attention, but because your presence is undeniable. They may have buried you alive, but now you walk free. And your legacy will haunt them, not as a ghost of vengeance, but as a reminder that no one has the power to erase a force that refuses to be forgotten.